Welcome to this topic, spontaneous abortion. My name is Mrs. A. Asha Kristina, nursing tutor, Department of Medical Surgical Nursing, Faculty of Sri Balaji College of Nursing, Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research, Chennai. We'll see the introduction. Abortion is also known as miscarriage. Abortion is the ending of pregnancy by removing a fetus or embryo before it can survive outside the uterus. If the fetus or a weight is less than 500 grams at 20 weeks of gestation, the expelled embryo or fetus is called abortion. It may be induced or spontaneous. Spontaneous abortion is one of the most common complications of pregnancy. So the studies indicate that the incidence of spontaneous abortion is between 10 and 20%, that is 3 to 5. It should also be noted that most of the spontaneous abortion occur in the early weeks of pregnancy, and therefore it can be confused with the menstrual bleeding. So this most of the spontaneous abortion occur in the first stage or first month or second month of pregnancy. So mostly the females may be confused whether it is a abortion or menstrual bleeding. So next we'll see the definition of abortion. As per WHO World Health Organization, abortion is the expulsion or extraction from its mother of an embryo or fetus weighing 500 grams or less when it is not capable of independent survival. And next definition, abortion is a process of partial or complete separation of the product of conception from the uterine wall with or without partial or complete expulsion from the uterine cavity before the age of viability. And the National Center for Health Statistics, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention describes and the World Health Organization defines abortion as pregnancy termination prior to 20 weeks of gestation or a fetus born weighing less than 500 grams. So the abortion is, in this, what we have understood, the abortion, the ending of pregnancy before the 20 weeks of gestation and less than 500 grams. According to Nina Bhaskar, an abortion is the premature expulsion of the products of conception from uterus. It can be either spontaneous or induced. We'll see the incidence of abortion. The incidence of abortion is difficult to work out, but probably 10 to 20% of all clinical pregnancy end in miscarriage, and another optimist figure of 10% are induced legally. 75% of abortion occur before the 16th week, and of these, about 75% occur before the 8th week of pregnancy. 15.6 million abortion, that is 14.1 million to 17.3 million, occurred in India in 2015. The abortion rate was 47 abortions per 1,000 women aged 15 to 49 years. 3.5 million abortions were obtained in health facilities. 11.5 million abortions were medication abortion done outside of the health facilities, and 0.8 million abortions were done outside of the health facilities using methods other than medication abortion. So these are some of the incidents which I have taken from the research studies. Next, we'll see the classification of abortion. So abortion is classified in spontaneous and induced. So spontaneous we'll see clearly later. In induced abortion, that is two, legal and illegal. Legal MTP and illegal is unsafe, and it may lead to the septic is very common in illegal abortion. This legal MTP is medical termination of pregnancy. And now we will clearly see the classification of spontaneous abortion. Under the spontaneous abortion, there are 7 classifications. First, threatened abortion, inevitable abortion, incomplete abortion, complete abortion, missed abortion, septic abortion, recurrent abortion. We'll see one by one. We'll see later one by one. Now we'll see the common etiological factors of spontaneous abortion. First is genetic and endocrine and metabolic, anatomic, infection, immunological, anti-fetal antibodies, thrombophilias, and others. First, we'll see the genetic factor. So the majority or 50% of early miscarriage or abortions are due to the chromosomal abnormalities in the conceptus. Autosomal trisomy is the common cytogenic abnormalities. A trisomy for every chromosome has been reported. The most common trisomy is trisomy 16. Polyploid has been observed in about 22% of abortus. Polyploidy refer to the presence of 3 or more multiple of a haploid number of chromosomes, that is 3n equal to 69, 4n number equal to 92. The triploidy is more common than tetraploidy. Next is monosomy, is the single most common chromosomal abnormality in miscarriage. The next is structural chromosomal rearrangement are observed in 2 to 4% of abortus. This includes translocation, deletion, inversion, and ring formation. Other chromosomal abnormalities like mosaic, double trisomy, etc., are found in about 4% of abortus. And now, next, we'll see under the endocrine and metabolic factors. Under this, luteal phase defect. This is because of luteal phase defect and deficiency of progesterone, thyroid abnormalities, this hyperthyroidism or hypothyroidism, and diabetic mellitus. These are some of the factors of abortion under the endocrine and metabolic factors. Anatomical abnormalities. Cervicouterine factors. Under the cervicouterine factors, cervical incompetence or any cervical abnormalities which leads to the spontaneous abortion, and congenital malformation of the uterus, and uterine fibroids and intrauterine adhesion. These are the some of the anatomical abnormalities of spontaneous abortion. Next, infection. Under this, there are viral infection, bacterial infection, parasitical infection. Because of this infection, there may be a chances. An immunological disorder. These are autoimmune disease, autoimmune disease, anti-fetal antibodies, maternal medical illness, and thrombophilias. Inherited thrombophilias, protein C resistance, protein C deficiency, and hyperhomocystinemia. Next, we'll see the classification of abortion one by one. First is threatened abortion. The term threatened abortion is used when a pregnancy is completed by vaginal bleeding before 20 weeks of pregnancy. We'll see the definition of threatened abortion. Process of abortion has started, but has not progressed to the state from which recovery is impossible. Next, clinical manifestation. In this threatened abortion, there is a slight bleeding and bright red in color, brisk, sharp, it may be remain as bright red. Now we'll see the management of threatened abortion. General and systemic examination should be done, and some of the investigations such as HB, ABO grouping, and RH, VDRL, urine routines and blood glucose should be taken. And third is a thyroid function test. The patient is admitted and given complete bed rest. If the pregnancy continues, the possibility of intrauterine growth retardation due to the poor placental function must be considered. There is also an increased risk of preterm labor, and it provides sedatives and should provide sedatives and analgesics. These are the some of the management for threatened abortion. Next, we'll see inevitable abortion. In case of inevitable abortion, a clinical pregnancy is complicated by both vaginal bleeding and cramp-like lower abdominal pain. The cervix is frequently partially dilated, attesting to the inevitability of the process. So in this, it is very difficult. They'll have a vaginal bleeding and cramping pain in this abortion. We'll see the definition of inevitable abortion. Changes have progressed to a state from where continuation of pregnancy is impossible. So the continuation of pregnancy is impossible. So next, clinical features. In this, what are the signs and symptoms? Is, increased vaginal bleeding will be there, and the female will have a pain, lower abdominal pain, maybe colicky in nature, and visible blood loss will be there. Internal examination shows dilated internal os of the cervix through which the products of conceptions are left, and intermediate lower abdominal pain. These are some of the clinical manifestation. And we'll see the management to accelerate process of expulsion to maintain strict asepsis. Morphine 15 mg is given IM. Bleeding control by administration of methergine 0.2 mg is in if cervix is dilated and size of the uterus is less than 12 weeks. Shock is corrected by IV fluid therapy and blood transfusion. So these are the some of the management. And we'll see next we'll see the incomplete abortion. So in this incomplete abortion, in addition to the vaginal bleeding, cramp-like pain and cervical dilatation, and incomplete abortion involve the passage of products of conception often described by the woman as looking like pieces of the skin or liver. So in this incomplete abortion, a part of a conception is expelled, but some of the conceptional products will be there inside the uterus. So the definition, when entire product of conceptions are not expelled, instead a part of it is left inside the uterine cavity, it is called incomplete abortion. So as we saw, some of the products of the conception will be left behind inside the uterus. So in future, later it may lead to the infection. So this is incomplete abortion. Like we'll see the clinical features. History of expulsion of fleshy mass per vagina. So the female may have the complaints of expulsion of a fleshy mass and continuous pain in the lower abdomen. It will be in a colicky nature. Next, persistent of vaginal bleeding will be there. As in internal vaginal examination, uterus smaller than the period of amenorrhea. On examination, expelled mass is found incomplete. So while on examination, the expelled mass is not be completed. So few parts or some part of this product will be there attached inside the uterus. Next, we'll see the management. Same like inevitable abortion. If it is in shock due to the blood loss, patient should be resuscitated before any active treatment is undertaken. Early abortion, dilatation and evacuation under GA, the general anesthesia. Late abortion product is removed with ovum forceps by blend curate DNC done to remove the bits of tissue left behind. So next is remove material sent to histological examination. So in this, the left conceptional product should be removed from the uterus and it should be sent to the histological examination for further treatment. Next is complete abortion. So in complete abortion, after passage of all the products of conception, the uterine contractions and bleeding ablate. The cervix closed and the uterus is smaller than the period of amenorrhea could suggest it. And I will see the definition of complete abortion. When product of conceptions are expelled out, completely is called complete abortion. So in a clinical feature, the female will feel the fleshy mass per vagina and she may feel the abdominal pain, then vaginal bleeding trace or absent. Internal examination shows uterus smaller and bleeding is traced. Examination of expelled fleshy mass intact. So these are the some of the clinical features of complete abortion. We'll see the management of complete abortion. If doubt, absence, complete expulsion of the product, uterine curettage should be done. Transvaginal sonography can be done. Rh negative women protected by anti-D gamma globulin 50 microgram or 100 microgram IM in case of early abortion, respectively within 72 hours. So missed abortion. We'll see what is missed abortion. In this missed abortion, the embryo dies despite the presence of a viable placenta and the sac is retained. So death of the embryo occurs before 8 weeks of gestation, but the mother's body fails to recognize the demise. A brown discharge from the degeneration of placental tissue may be present and threatened miscarriage is suspected. So in this missed abortion, what will happen? The female will not feel the her uterine embryo or uterine this inside, it is dead and it will remain inside for a few days. When the fetus is dead and retained inside the uterus for more than 4 weeks, it is called missed abortion. So we'll see the clinical features of a missed abortion: persistence of brownish vaginal discharge, subsidence of pregnancy symptoms. So the pregnancy symptoms will not follow. The subside will be there. The breast changes and cessation of uterine growth. Follicular stimulating hormone is not audible with Doppler. Sorry, fetal heart rate is not audible with a Doppler, and often that is a failure to gain weight. The uterus is smaller. The USG will show smaller than expected uterus with a result of a broken sac. So these are some of the clinical manifestation. Next, we'll see the management. Uterus is less than 12 weeks. SNE will with slow dilatation of a cervix under GA. Uterus more than 12 weeks, induction done by oxytocin 10 to 20 units and 500 ml of 5% dextrose at the rate of 30 drops per minute. Then prostaglandin should be given in IM. Next, we'll go for septic abortion. So in this, this septic abortion is an abortion associated with an infection inside the pregnant woman's uterus. So causes of this septic abortion. The septic abortion can occur when bacterial enters the uterus. The bacteria may also belong to the vaginal flora. Also, sexually transmitted infections such as chlamydia may also cause septic abortion. So because of some ascending infection, the infection may ascend towards the uterus and it may lead to the abortion. Then next we'll see the risk factors. The fetal membranes surrounding the unborn child have ruptured, sometimes without being detected. So the women have a sexually transmitted infection such as chlamydia. An intrauterine device was left in the place during the pregnancy. So in this, next is tissue from the unborn child and placenta is left inside the uterus after a miscarriage or elective abortion procedure. Unsafe abortion was made to end the pregnancy. Last is insert of tools, chemicals, or soaps into the uterus. And next we'll see the prevention. What are the preventives? Better birth control and legal abortion have dramatically reduced the number of septic abortion. Yeah, by doing the legal practice, it reduced the amount of the septic abortion. To cut the risk further, a woman should be tested for common sexually transmitted infection in the first trimester for her pregnancy. So these are the preventive methods of septic abortion. Next, we'll see the management. The women should have intravenous fluid to maintain blood pressure and urine output. Broad spectrum intravenous antibiotics should be given to prevent the infection, to prevent the growth of the infection. A dilatation and curettage should be done. Due to the bleeding, iron supplement may be given to correct the HB. Analgesic and sedatives as required are to be prescribed. Blood transfusion is given to improve the anemia. Next, we'll see the recurrent abortion. As a sequence of 3 or more consecutive spontaneous abortion before 20 weeks. Next, we'll see the investigation of a recurrent abortion. This is a blood glucose, VDRL, thyroid function test, ABO, and RH grouping. Next is autoimmune screening and serum HL on day 2 and day 3 for the cycle and ultrasonography. These are some of the investigation should be taken. And we'll see the management. to alleviate anxiety and improve the psychology. So we have to remove the anxiety level of the patient, and psychology should give the psychological support to correct the uterine pathology. Chromosomal problems refers to genetic counseling for future risk of abortion, and the patient or the couples or the female should be guided towards the counseling, genetic counseling for the further problems, for further future complications, to prevent the future complications or abortions. To treat the endocrine dysfunctions or genital tract infection, etc. And USG should be used to detect a variable pregnancy. We'll see the health education, and the midwife need to support the mother and her family at the time when they are grieving for their lost baby. So the main responsibility of the midwife is to give a psychological support for the mother and also for the family members because of their loss. Next, give psychological support, and we should give the psychological support for the family members. Follow-up visit must be made in 2 to 4 weeks after the abortion. So follow-up visit should be planned according to the family and situation, and should follow and to evaluate the problems. And counseling on contraceptions is of importance to these women who are or have been faced with the reality of an unwanted pregnancy. And last, we'll see the bibliography. I've taken this from that DC Datta textbook of obstetrics, 6th edition, page number 158 to 167. And next is Annama Jacob, textbook of obstetrics, 4th edition, page number 142 to 51 and 255 and 777. Then Kumari textbook of midwives, and then Miles textbook of midwives, 14th edition, 2009, page number 1031 to 80282 and 28.